If you're out there and you're about to retire and you want to move into an RV, sell your house and travel the US, and you're wondering, man, where am I going to get my mail? What address am I going to use for my driver's license?
Driver's license, I'm trying to block everything out.
I do want to say that earlier in the video, we did say that our car insurance should have been going down. That definitely didn't go down. That actually went up.
Because it looks like a really tough job. Like, how did they even do it?
All right, good morning, you guys. It is super early, actually at a gas station right now, and it's a little bit loud. There's a highway right there. It's time to leave Salt Lake City. We're still on this road trip to the East Coast, and today we're gonna be driving to South Dakota to finally become South Dakota residents. You guys know we got filter thing, so yeah, let's try and get this done. Good morning, Hannah.
No.
Hannah's just waking up and she's realizing how much it snowed last night.
It was really cold.
Can I get some of that muffin? Oh. Well, I guess this is going to be our new life now as South Dakota. Does South Dakota get extreme weather? Probably.
Probably.
So maybe we should have checked the weather before we made this road trip. I think we're driving into a storm.
I have a feeling that we should have started our drive yesterday when it wasn't snowing, but it's alright. I think we're gonna be okay. Should probably also explain why we're going to South Dakota. So we're going to South Dakota to get our permanent residence. So right now our residence is in California, but most parents are going to be moving soon and we don't know exactly where they're going to, so we figured this is a really good time for us to kind of become fully, I guess, self-sufficient. And there are a couple different states where it makes it really easy for full-time travelers to get permanent residence. We chose South Dakota for a number of reasons, mostly because it's a little bit easier, but we'll get more into that later and exactly what we need to do in South Dakota. But for now, we're going to pay attention to the road because the snow is going crazy. The drive from Salt Lake to Rapid City, South Dakota is a beautiful one. And after trying to keep ourselves entertained, we finally made it to the Mount Rushmore state. And after a little more driving, we checked into our hotel for the night to fulfill the first obligation on becoming South Dakota residents. All right, so a lot of you guys are probably super confused in why South Dakota. We know it sounds pretty random, but I'm just gonna take a quick second and explain to you guys why we chose South Dakota and what we're actually doing. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, both my girlfriend Hannah and I have been living in a van for about 5 years now, and we are full-time travelers. We don't own a home, we don't have an apartment, and yeah, our only ties to California, which is the state that both of us are domiciled in currently, or residents, is the fact that we use our parents' address to get our mail, for our driver license, all that stuff. It was something that we had before we started traveling, and it's something that we've kind of just kept just because it's definitely a little bit more on the convenient side. You don't want to go through the headache, and we didn't really think we had an option up until the point where my parents told me that they're starting to think about retiring, moving to another state, and that kind of left me in a spot where, okay, what am I gonna do now? Where am I gonna get my mail? What address am I gonna use for my driver license and all that stuff? And that's when both Hannah and I started talking about it, looking at it, researching it, and we realized it's time to start the whole domicile program in a different state. And we realized that there's 3 states out there that welcome full-time travelers and allow you to establish domicile within those states relatively easily. So if you're out there and you're about to retire and you wanna move into an RV, sell your house and travel the US, and you're wondering, man, where am I gonna get my mail? What address am I gonna use for my driver license? This is gonna be a perfect little guide for you. Disclaimer here, I am not an expert, and I highly encourage you to do your own research. There's a ton of really awesome resources on the internet, kind of the beauty of living in this day and age, and yeah, we're just kind of explaining to you our thought process and why we went through ours. This is by no means what you should do. So the 3 states that really welcome full-time travelers that we found kind of appropriate for us are Florida, Texas, and South Dakota. Now, with that being said, our first state that we really wanted was Florida, the second was South Dakota, and in last place for us was Texas. We actually love Texas. We really love Houston. We really love Dallas. The reason we didn't choose Texas is because they actually require annual vehicle inspections. Now, if you are out of the state, you don't have to come back for that vehicle inspection. They let you, you're okay, but as soon as you come back to the state, you have 3 days to get your vehicle inspected, and we just thought that this would be a little bit of a headache. We wanted a little bit more kind of flexibility there. Now, the first state that we really liked and we were considering heavily was Florida. We loved our time there. We loved the beaches, and we definitely could see ourselves spending more time there. Now, the reason we didn't choose Florida is because it kind of feels like everyone and their mom is moving there right now. It feels like they have a huge influx of people that are moving to the state, and we were just worried that maybe they may start cracking down on kind of full-time travelers establishing domicile there. There's no evidence of this, but it was just kind of a fear of us. I don't know, it feels like they have so much going on and it's so much chaos there with kind of everyone moving there that, yeah, definitely changing your domicile address is a little bit of a headache because you have to change it everywhere, and yeah, we didn't want to go through this twice, so that's why we didn't pick Florida. South Dakota really appealed to us for a few reasons. Number one, they make it so easy and they're so welcoming to full-time travelers. Now, a few other reasons why we really liked South Dakota is no state income tax. Florida also had no state income tax, but yeah, Florida, we already talked about that. There's also no yearly vehicle inspection here, which was awesome. We're always on the go, and we didn't want to have to return here every time we needed our vehicle inspected. So yeah, that was another plus. And also, from what we hear, vehicle registration and insurance is lower in the state of South Dakota as opposed to where we're coming from, which is California. Now, we'll confirm all this because we're doing it, and we'll let you guys know how it looks. The other cool thing is you only need to stay in the state of South Dakota 24 hours, actually every 5 years, because every 5 years is when you need to renew your driver license. Now, you guys might be wondering, well, Mo and Hannah, how are you guys gonna get your address here in the state of South Dakota? And this is where a mail servicing provider comes in. I know I'm butchering probably the actual legal name of that, but yeah, there's a lot of cool mail forwarding services here that will actually give you an address essentially where all your mail is going to be sent to, and we're actually going to be going with Americas Mailbox. I believe so. We're going to go actually just walk in today and see if it works out. So after spending 24 hours within the state, and you actually have to have a receipt of your stay, so whether it's a campground or a hotel, and also has to have your new South Dakota address on there as well, then I believe you head to the DMV and actually, I think you just pick up your driver license, and I want to say that you can actually register your vehicle same day as well. Now, we'll follow up on all of this. We're gonna go through the process, and I feel like the best way to learn is to do. At the end of the video, we'll do a confirmation on what we actually had to do, the paperwork you needed, and yeah, hopefully by the end of this video, we're South Dakota residents, and you can also figure out how to become South Dakota residents.
We chose to go with America's Mailbox, primarily because of all the amazing reviews and the fact that they also have a campground if we ever need one in the future. And after heading in and filling out a lot of paperwork, we finally had completed the second step towards becoming South Dakota residents.
So honestly, you guys, America's Mailbox were awesome. They were super helpful and friendly. Basically, we had to present 2 forms of identification each. We used our passports and our driver license, and then we figured out what plan we went. We went with the titanium plan because it also includes scanning. So basically, they can scan all of our mail and send us like an email picture of it to let us know if we have anything important in there. And yeah, we basically have our address here, and now we need to go back to the hotel, give them our address, print out a receipt, and go to the DMV because we've been here for 24 hours, and we can get our driver license and I believe our car registration too.
Our driver's license, I'm trying to block everything out.
That's us. Oh,
that's us. Literally our second day in South Dakota, and now we're residents. Just like that. But we gotta rush and try to get over to the other DMV, which is kind of weird they don't combine the two, to get our license plates. So we're gonna see if we still have time. It's already 4:20 and they close at 5.
All right, you guys, and just like that, we don't have license plate, but we did get our car registered in South Dakota. The reason we don't have our license plate is because it was only $20 more to get custom plates. Total for our registration, we paid a grand total of $130. I'm starting to feel at home in this place. I mean, it is our home.
So fun fact, I am actually 25% Sioux Native American, meaning my grandma was actually 100% Sioux Native American, and there are a lot of Sioux Native Americans here in South Dakota, so I kind of feel like I'm going back to my roots a little bit, although I didn't grow up with a lot of Native American influence in my life, but it's still really cool and it's totally random that I ended up back here, so that's pretty cool.
What's up, you guys? Mo from the future. Now, we were just editing this video and we realized we left out a couple of key details and it's a little bit all over the place, so figured we'd jump in here and just kind of break everything down, the whole process of becoming a South Dakota resident, and just add a couple of details that we didn't mention in the video. So first step, we went to South Dakota, we got a hotel, we stayed at the Marriott, and we stayed for 48 hours, although technically you only need to stay for 24 hours. We just wanted to give ourselves a little bit extra time, and it was a really good rate as well. hotel. Now, the next day after checking in, spending the night, we went to Americas Mailbox where we opened up our mailbox with them. Now, to open up the mailbox with them, you needed 2 forms of ID. So we used our passport and our driver license and a social security card as well. And yeah, they helped us open up the mailbox. We went with the titanium plan. The reason we went with the titanium plan because that included scanning of the mail and sending it over virtually to let us know what mail we actually get in. And the other cool thing is we did end up adding a registered agent with them. So it's an additional $50 for the year. And that allows us to set up our LLC in South Dakota. In South Dakota, to get your LLC started up, you do need to have a registered agent that does live in the state of South Dakota. So America's Mailbox provides that service for an additional $50, which was super awesome and really helpful. Now, after getting our address with America's Mailbox, we took that address and we went back to the hotel that we were staying at, and we actually gave them our address. They went and they printed our receipt with our new South Dakota address on there. Be sure that you have a receipt with your name and your South Dakota address on there, both your names. So you do need to have both of the names, and take that receipt with your receipt from America's Mailbox or whatever mail center you go with your South Dakota address. That's when you go to the DMV. This is after you spend 24 hours in the state. We went to the DMV. At the DMV, we presented our receipt from the hotel with our 24-hour stay. We presented our America's Mailbox receipt with our South Dakota address. And then we paid $20 for our licenses after filling out the paperwork and taking a vision exam. Now, we needed those receipts and we also needed that proof of identification. So we used our passport and our driver license, our old driver license. And you do need to have that current driver license so you can get your new driver license and just take that vision exam. And yeah, after paying the $20, we were officially South Dakota residents, which was awesome. Now, the step after that is we wanted to get our van registered. So we headed to the Pennington County office. We'll put all that information in the description of this video. Now, over there, we presented all of that paperwork we've been talking about, the receipts and our new South Dakota driver license and the forms of identifications, as well as the title of our vehicle. It cost, I want to say it was $130, and that was prorated slightly, although I asked her what the full year would have been, and it wasn't much more. And that was also with an additional $20 for the custom license plates, and the total for us was $130. I want to say she said it'd be like $145 if we wanted the full year, which is pretty insane, especially coming from California. We could have left with our plates that day if we didn't go with custom ones. They actually said that they can mail them to wherever we wanted. So we gave them the address of where we were going to be because we still have this huge road trip ahead of us. And they actually already came in. You'll see it in a later video. I do want to say that earlier in the video, we did say that our car insurance should have been going down. That definitely didn't go down. That actually went up. So we're just kind of putting that disclaimer on here. Now, when we were kind of looking into it, what we realized is in South Dakota, they actually have protection from hail damage. Apparently, they get gnarly hail, and that's not something that we have in California. So our rates in South Dakota actually did go up slightly. It's noticeable, but not crazy, and it's definitely offset by the cost of everything else. Extra that we're paying in car insurance is nowhere near what we're saving in every other department. And the other cool thing is I believe our insurance will be going down even further when we get our new van, because our new van is actually classified as an RV, and we checked into the RV rates, and let's just say we are very stoked about that. Huge shout out to America's Mailbox. We highly recommend them. We're not affiliated with them whatsoever. Hopefully that answers most of your questions. If we didn't answer any of your questions, let us know in the comment section what questions you guys still have, and we'll try our best to answer all of them. Still have one more South Dakota adventure, so let's see it.
You cannot visit South Dakota without visiting Mount Rushmore, and that's just what we did. Mount Rushmore is one of those monuments you've always seen in pictures and wondered how it would look in person. Trust us when we say it did not disappoint.
All right, you guys, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the coolest national monuments. It's just so crazy seeing the faces that big up there, wondering how they chiseled them in. I know probably should have paid attention in history class, but...
I also have all the names of the workers right before you get to the monument. That's pretty cool, too.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
I definitely missed that.
I wonder if anyone died making it, though. Because it looks like a really tough job. Like, how did they even do it?
See them up there. Honestly, does anyone else feel this way? I feel like when you're a kid, you don't appreciate history, and then when you get older, you're like super into it. Maybe that just means we're getting old.
This is never like a place I wanted to visit, but I'm happy I'm here. I think it's super cool.